Alright guys, I'm just going to go through a simple tutorial on setting up a ship after you've built it. This one I just deleted off everything so I could just start over, just a creation that I've had before. But it's a nice slick little one, so we're just going to go in here. You can see it's got thrusters, it's got weapons, it's got drills, so it's a nice combination of everything, batteries, connectors, even ejection ports for stone. So we're just going to go in here, hop in the cockpit, hit I, go to control panel, and we're going to see everything we got. The first thing I want to do is just group things together. So, and even certain things I like to, let me start over. First thing we're going to do is name it. Got to come in here to grid name and give it some name. Makes things a lot easier for finding it and finding it on the server for cleaning up. And it's pretty important for when everything's docked to a station. Also, if you have more of the same vehicle, definitely even name these groups a little different each time. Just go in and add a 1 or something to the group name. You'll have to change your hotbar, but it's important because if you, on one vehicle, you're turning off thrusters, but another vehicle of the exact same type is docked, it will turn on those thrusters that you had off that were docked. So it could cause a lot of problems or disconnect that ship and make it fall off your platform and blow up, do all kinds of bad things. That explicitly says don't use P, so that's very important. Don't click P for anything, and I agree with that. So no, we're just adding antenna and adding the name to it. Even this vent, definitely like to do that on certain things, but for now we'll just leave it alone. We're going to find all our batteries. So here I've got smalls and regulars, and we're just going to shift and click all the group, and then we're going to come over here to block group, and we're going to go, since this is Atmo Digger, we're going to just go AD, batteries, if I can spell, and hit save. Sometimes it doesn't save. I do have some problems with that. So I've already named these AD and AD, because otherwise it just comes in as cockpit. I've added those ADs to those items so that when I'm in the base looking at whatever thing's connected, I can go, oh, that's the AD cockpit, that's where that is, that's the connector. I don't want to disconnect that, but I'm going to come in. I don't have to group the drills or the gyroscopes. Sometimes I'll group lights. It is kind of nice. Magnetic plates, I usually group those. So AD plates, and can't spell as you can see. Plates, save that. Cargo, don't need to do anything with the cargo. You could put AD cargo, but most of the time everything's going to get pulled out of this if you have your base set up with sorters or anything. Or refineries will pull everything out of it, so it's not a big deal. Or detector, not a big deal. Oxygen tank is because you're going to set it to stockpile to fill up for the next time you go out. And thrusters are a big deal, and there's a couple different things on thrusters. So I'm going to come in and even get the large ones and do AD thrusters. Okay, and then I'm just going to save. But I'm also going to find out the forward ones, or backward ones, sorry, the ones that are facing, so it'll stop you. So we're going to hit control and we're going to click any that say backwards, because that's direction that they are pushing you. And I have a lot of, in a mining ship, I have a lot of backward thrust, because when you're tilted down and you're heavy, that way it has enough to take you out of the hole that you're working in. I found out I don't have to use large thrusters for every direction, and I'll just put a lot more little ones up front. But we're going to just call this AD thruster reverse. That way I'll show you later why I do that. And then these are connectors. These are the small connectors, are all for where the ore comes out, so we can put AD ejectors. I used to call them ore ejectors, now they call them small connectors, but we're going to use them as ejectors. And then this conveyor sorter. So, and this is, we're going to make that AD as well. That way we know. And then we're going to group these Gatling guns. Actually, now we don't have to. So, don't have to worry about that, because we have it as a mouse click now, which I never used to use. I just used it on and off in the past. So that's everything set up on different items. So now we can escape out of there. We're in our ship. Now we hit G. We pull up everything that's built into the ship. Since we're not connected to the base, we can only see what's in the ship. If we were connected to the base, then this would be a lot more difficult. We'd have to disconnect to see the items that we have, and that would have been a lot more difficult to do the groups. So definitely when you do this, make sure you're not connected to the base, so you can just see what's only in this grid of the small grid. Otherwise, you'll see every ship, everything that's connected to it. So it's really hard to complicated to do. And I like to start right here. Connector goes right here, and it goes to switch lock. This is my sequence, so I'll go here and to the left to start up, and then here to the right to shut down. Actually reversed. So this is start up and then shut down. Because what I will do is I will come in here and I will get my groups, and I will get my thrusters. I want all the thrusters in this pair. I'm just going to go on and off, and then I'm going to go to the batteries, and I'm going to go to recharge on and off. I don't need them on and off, I just need recharge, so that when I dock at a station or anywhere, I come in here and I click switch lock so I can dock to the station. I can turn off my thrusters because they're drawing power from the station and the ship, and then I can click this to auto, so then it will recharge for the next time I need it from the base. And that's really the basics of just flying. That's all you need for this ship. Now we'll get into this reverse thruster, and we will put that up here, and I'll do that as a toggle on and off. What I'll do on that, and I'll show that in some flight in a little bit when we're done setting this all up, is say I want to go cross country to somewhere and I have to sit here and hold my W key and just keep flying. If I hit 1, then it will just keep pushing it forward, because the station keeping is just one. I can't remember the word now. Let's see. The dampeners will just keep you pushing, which is nice. It'll just It's more like a cruise control, so it's very nice for that. So we'll go to all blocks. Now we want to go to on this line, and I'll do a different line where weapons go, but I'll just go to block tools, and then I will pull this drill down here, and that'll be where my drill goes, right there. And that will, if I go to tools, instead of on and off from this area, if I go and I grouped it and I put it here, through block tools, I can left click and it will mine and it'll collect it. But if I right click, it'll open a big area in the dirt that I can fly into, and it won't collect it, but it'll clear out an area. And then I want to go back to the groups, and I want to find ejectors, and I'll do that as a toggle on and on, and I want to find that sorter. I don't know if I use that so much, but this will say I want some stone just for the base to start off. That's all I can get right now, and I just need some stone, or I need some gravel and things like that. I will just shut that off so that it'll keep some stone in my inventory, and then when I get to the base, it'll pull it out from there. So that'll work out perfect. So this is pretty much, I mean, you can add more stuff to this, but I like it simple, and I always like this 3 setups. All my ships are this way, where I dock, thrusters, auto. And so all I do is I'm starting up, I go 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, I landed, I go 1, 2, 3, and I'm set. Now I could do that with a event controller now, but I like for this tutorial is to show what the things are needed to shut down and hook up your ship. That way you can set up an event controller in the future that does those things just by clicking one. It's like it knows when it's locked that it'll automatically do that. So that is an option in the future, and I've started to kind of mess with that on other builds. Then we get into weapons. So I'm going to go to Control 2. Oh, and it looks like somebody had already not taken that off from the last time. So this is all I do for my weapons area is I'll have my 1, which I took it from block weapons. Instead of, if I take it from here, then I've got to make it a group, and I can only turn it on and off and do things like that. But if I come in here to block weapons and I pull that down here and put it right here, then it's a mouse controlled fire. So if I push my left mouse button down, it shoots. And then to get more accurate, because you don't see very well from here, but if you put your forward camera, then I can see a lot better. So, and then you get in here, you got to hit F to get out of it. So that does help. And if anybody uses mods, the pan your camera mod is awesome, because then you can look. It was very helpful. I need to make it in the vanilla game. And I had a connector there, and I don't need a connector there. I think it was more if it was in combat mode. I always try to have this line as combat and the other one as flight or operations. So that's it. Ship set up. We can take off and go now. So we're just going to sit here and go turn our engines on, and there we go. We are set. That one's already set on that. I think I have. Let's see here. Let me find a connector here. I'll make one here. Let's just go over here and add a connector. Okay. Oop, and don't get tilted. Okay, so we're going to come in here. We're going to grab a connector, just pop it on this thing here. Connector. And then we are going to come back here. Crouch back in. I know I have a reverse camera. I can always add on to this, or have it on the build that I just had shown you guys, but it is nice to throw a camera on there. So it'll show on number 9, ready to lock. So I'll hit number 9. It'll zoom me out because now I'm connected. I'm pretty much the whole base. And then I'm still going to hit thrusters off and auto to recharge. Now, the big thing is here, when you get back in your ship, and it seems like, oh, there's power. I mean, if I turn the engines on, if I hit here and go to 8 and turn the engines on, oh look, I got power. No problem. But you see all these batteries are yellow? They're on charge mode, so they're not able to put out power. So if I sat here and decided to go, oh, I'm just going to disconnect, I could take off. I'm going to fall like a rock because my ship really doesn't have power because my batteries are sitting there charging. So now I'm going to hit number 7. So it turns my recharge off to my batteries, and now they're back on. Now this ship doesn't have a power source of its own, but it has enough battery power, as you can see, for the right 2 hours of power, which is more than plenty to go in and out. And this one hasn't even recharged all the way. So, but 2 hours of power is a long time. I've never run out doing just little mining operations and coming back and forth. So always make sure 9, 8, 7, and once you do it to all your ships this way, it's really easy just to set up and go. So boom, like that. So now we're going to go 7, 8, 9, and we're going to take off. Now if you wait there too long, that's going to become a little more magnetic and keep you there, so sometimes you got to switch lock that. There, battery's a little more charged than I thought it was, but it's still not all the way. So now we're going to hit 3, make sure it's on there. If I hit left mouse button, I've got my drills. So I can come in and drill this out, and we'll collect stuff. This is the reason for all those thrusters pointing forward, is so I can sit like this and get some weight. Now, you can see that it's not eating much. It's just, this is actually collection mode. Now if I right click, this is where it will eat out a whole section. So I can dig out a big area, and then I can get myself down to the ore that I want with this little ship. Now, let's say pirates have come. I need to go to combat mode. Alright. I can just sit here and hit 1. There we go. It says switch weapons. And now I've got weapons on this little miner. Doesn't take much. Don't need a whole lot of weapons. And does a lot of damage, but in a pinch, if you needed some, you could have 1 or 2 or none at all, just how you want to play. This one time was my only ship, so I just need a little fight on it. Now I gotta sit here and hold W to go all the way across this lake. Well, if I go to our first one and I turn off 1, and that turns off all of my front thrusters, and I hit W to speed up, and we get there, and if I let go of W, we're still coasting. I'm still holding speed. I don't have to sit there and hold it. I'm not touching it. I actually, hands are off the keyboard and mouse right now. So it's nice, instead of having to sit there and hold W, and it actually gives it a little more feel of flight, because it's not instant stop when you're flying. So it gives it without aerodynamics, and that just a little more flight fun. And one of the nice things too, with those big thrusters on the bottom, I'm going to turn that back on. You're flying along and you need to stop, goose it, and put your thrusters down. Your big thrusters will slow you down. If you're got enough thrust in the back, that'll hold me up like that. But you can always point your thrusters, if any of you have watched The Expanse, where they do the flip and burn. This game pretty much does that too, where you can just have the thruster arm back and it will slow you down. Now, you need the other thrusters in this game to do your controls. Now, here on Atmosphere, I don't have any pointing up, and I don't really need them. If I flip over, the ship is gone, and I'll get a salvage, or I will delete it, but I don't need that extra power waste of trying to let the dampeners keep it from going too high. I mean, the atmosphere, the weight, the gravity is going to do that on its own. So hopefully that helps you guys, and we'll keep making maybe some more tutorials for some different things, but go from there. Thank you.